Think I'm live now. So welcome to my LinkedIn live stream series. We have a say in Chinese. Please feel free to say hi in the chat window and let me know where you are watching from. And during my sharing anytime, I would love to hear from you through the chat window, how you resonate, what's your thought, or if you have any questions, just please let me know, share in the chat window. So let's get started. So for the people who's first time watching this, my name is XIAO-YU, and it means sunshine in the morning in Chinese. You can call me XIAO-YU. I am a leadership and intercultural transition coach and a business consultant. I work with professional individuals and business owners who are in the process of or considering transiting career or their business into a new area or a new phase. I am here to support you in making conscious and efficient choices among the exciting opportunities while thriving in a multicultural environment. I see. Hello, Nicholas. Hi, Nicholas. Good to see you again. Or I should say hello, guten Abend. Thank you for joining us, Nicholas. So let me see. Today, we have a saying in Chinese. So this is a LinkedIn live stream series I'm doing every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Europe time. I will come in here live on LinkedIn to share a Chinese saying together with some of my reflections or thought around that topic or that Chinese saying. And so it will be great to have you join me live because we can have some live engagement. But if you cannot make it, please make sure to sign up the event. We will have the playback afterwards available for you. And last but the most important thing is if you would love to come in to share your favorite Chinese saying and how it inspired you, let's talk. I would love to have you join me as a guest speaker. And you can also check out my LinkedIn live stream from last week, where I had Dan joined me as a guest speaker, and we had a really interesting and amazing conversation last week. With all being said, let's talk about our Chinese saying today. So as you see, we have a saying in Chinese, 沉默是金. 沉默是金. This is a series by Confucius. I guess many of you are familiar with the English version. Is we say silence is gold. So 沉默 is silence, and 金 is the gold. Here refers to the gold. Although usually we can also use 金 refers to the metal. Yeah. So 沉默是金. And today with you, I would love to explore or share with you how the active listening starts with the aligned silence, and also share some of my coaching work, how silence works in the coaching world, and also how we can learn from that, how we can apply into our everyday life, into our professional or personal relationship and growth. So let me see. I see we have few people here watching. Please don't be shy to say hi. Tell me where you are watching from. I would love to hear from you. So let's start with the listening. We do it all the time, right? But how are we listening? That's the key. So in the social life and the workplace, we have different type of listening. Some are productive, some are efficient, some may be ended with the totally opposite direction. Some listening, some communication may bring people together, and some may actually create some conflict. So here are a few different types of listening I want to share with you. The first one, actually, I call it not listening. So basically, the listener is totally disengaging in the conversation, in the listening part, or not paying any attention physically or mentally, emotionally. So very typical thing you see when people are talking, the other person, for example, checking their phone, right? So that person is not listening, although they may say I'm multitasking, but it's not engaging there. And the second type of listening is subjective listening, which is based on the agenda or the need, the goal of the listener themselves. So it's all about when the listening is listening, but it's all about focus on try to get their information out, try to prove their point, or try to turn the conversation always about themselves again. That's the subjective listening. And the third type is the objective listening, which is completely focused on the word or the topic of the speaker. So this one is the other way around, right? It's focused on the content, the topic of this conversation. However, there's no other further thought or thinking or reflection around the information related to the speaker. It could be efficient sometimes, but sometimes the issue or the space for improvement here is in the objective listening, there's no dive in the root or the core of the speaker or the topic itself. And here we comes the last type of listening, which is active listening. We also call it intuitive listening. This kind of listening is engaging, it's observing, and the listener here is trying to search for or curious about what's the real message behind the words of the speaker. So by observing the expressions, the facial expressions, the body language, the tones, to try to understand better what's the feeling, what's underneath, what's inside of the speaker, and also try to understand and connect with the speaker. This type of listening is very powerful because it builds the relationship, a deeper relationship and connection between the speaker and the listener, which is also the foundation for efficient conversation in the future as well. And also with this kind of intuitive or active listening, we have a deeper connection is going to help us to get more done with less potential stress or conflict in the future communication. So we talk so much about listening, and how about how it's connected to the silence, right? So very straightforward way, if you imagine when one person is talking, the other person is not talking, stay quiet. That's kind of silence. But today I want to share two types of silence with you. The first one, I call that surface silence. So the silence on the surface. So the listener may seem very quiet, not talking over or try to argue, stay quiet. But actually the mind of the listener is running really fast. They try to think about how can they talk, what they can talk after the speaker finish, or think about something else, or how to prove themselves, their point or their right, convince the other, or how to carry on the conversation to get what they want, right? Or sometimes it's just kind of they turn the speaker's words into the sound. Although on the surface, it seems like they're quiet, they're sitting there, maybe even looking at the speaker. So this kind of surface silence may happen when people are not listening, or when people are doing this subjective listening, or even sometimes when people are doing objective listening. And the thing here is you may miss out some key information because your mind is too busy thinking, right? You are not fully listening to the speaker. You may miss some key information from the speaker, or maybe not able to connect with the speaker. In the end, the conversation is not that productive as we hoped. Or the conversation cannot help each other to reach their peak performance, or to help each other to reach the goal or the outcome that we set for the beginning. Especially for long term, we can see this kind of surface silence. It's not the ideal way of being silence in the conversation, the communication. And the second type of silence, I call that aligned silence. It's about being fully present without distractions, emotionally engaging with the speaker, but not led by your own judgment or personal agenda. So it's about to quiet down, to quiet your mind as well, not only sitting there quietly, right? So aligning your peace in mind and intuitive listening is another level of silence here. So the aligned silence can help you truly understand what the other person is trying to express, trying to communicate, and connect with the speaker as well, not only focus on the conversation. But this is also helpful for you to dive in the conversation, to really go deeper and go to the root of the topic or the issue you want to solve here. So when we have this aligned silence together with the intuitive listening, we can solve the problem or focus on the topic, have the conversation more productively. Plus, there will be more satisfaction for both sides because you are connected. You have this joy, the satisfaction as well. And also in long term, it's going to build better foundation for further collaboration on the opportunities. So that's about the listening. Let me see if anyone have any questions. Cool. Let's continue then. So how about the silence in coaching? Right. So many times I was telling people, yeah, I personally, I love talking. I enjoy talking with people, sharing my stories, sharing my insights. But in the coaching world, actually the coach speak less. It's more about letting the clients to lead the conversation, let the clients to explore, to connect with themselves. The coach here is more like a thinking partner, right? So in the coaching work, it is crucial to create this psychological safe environment where the judgment and the leading are not present. And the silence plays an important role here. As a coach, intuitive and active listening is one of our important skills. One thing, it is about stay silent when the client has the need to be heard. Maybe they are venting, they are complaining, maybe they are verbally processing their thought, right? So in this moment, the coach creates this space, allow the client to be fully focused and freely to talk and share. But it does not stop here with the surface silence though. So the coach, during the process, the coach stays silent, but will also observe and listen for the underneath messages. What could be their triggers? What could be the feelings of the clients, the thought, the values behind? Even sometimes we observe, explore if there are any patterns after we work with the clients for a while. And we do not stop here neither. So after all this observation, while we stay silent, we validate the feelings. We challenge the client's limiting belief to help them shift their mindset or perspective. And we help the clients move forward with action plans, etc. We have all these amazing afterwards steps. But among all these amazing skills or techniques, the active listening with aligned silence is the very first step, because that helps to create the psychological safe space, but also creating this opportunity for the coach to understand better the clients. And also sometimes in the coaching conversation, we may experience this kind of silent moment where both the client and the coach are not talking. So, and also for some people, either coach or just in everyday life, it is hard for some people to stay in silence, like people sitting together but not talking. Some people feel uncomfortable. Some people feel like they have the urge to say something, or feel like they are responsible to facilitate or keep the conversation going. But as we say in coaching, we say when the clients pause and start stay in silence, actually it is the moment they start the deep thinking. They are really pondering the questions we ask, the coach asks, or they're really solving some puzzles in their mind. So it is okay, it is more than okay to sit in the silence for a few minutes, because it is about honoring the space to provoke and encourage the client's reflection and thinking. The question is how comfortable you are with that silence, and even how comfortable and even how confident you are with that silence. So after talking so much about coaching, about listening, about aligned silence, you maybe wonder, how does it make sense to everyone, right? Because sometimes I share with people, coaching is profession, but it is also a way of being, which is why coaching is so valuable to people, because coaching helps people through being coached. You experience the coaching, you also learn all the skills and turn them into part of your being, part of who you are. Right. So what I talked about, the active listening, intuitive listening, connecting with the others and observe and paying attention and truly have this aligned silence, all this everything could apply to anyone. include you now in front of the screen, the camera, in any scenarios. Because imagine in a team, in a personal relationship, in marriage, between the friends, between the parents and children, colleagues, customers and service providers, right? Just imagine, because every moment, as long as we are with someone, we are having this communication, either verbally or in silence, right? So the next question will be, how can we practice or being able to have this aligned silence? Because it sounds so amazing, sounds so helpful, right? So here are a few ideas to share with you. First thing is about meditation or centering, because this is something doesn't require too much time, but it does require concentration, and it requires lots of commitment. It's all about commitment and hold yourself accountable for this. But meditation or centering are really truly helpful tools for many people to calm down, to quiet their mind. It's like a practice, you twist your brain. So when you build it into your routine, building your habit, make it into a habit, you realize how powerful it is, right? Don't need to go into too much details here. Oh, the other thing is go for a walk in the nature if you can, because when I live in the city, either at home or when we are on the street in public, the city life, the urban life have lots of noises going on around us and lots of signals, electronic signals, but also like image, visual and everything. So when we go in a nature like a forest or a park, you have this calm and nature sound. They have the multi-sense environment, how you visually see everything, the colors, right? And that's also when you are walking, when you move your body, because of the blood circulation, everything, it's also helpful and kind of create a very friendly environment for you to connect with your mind and your body. And the last one, simple, like really simple, like a ready to go tip here is like to take a deep breath before you talk. Maybe put a sticker note on your laptop or something. Every time when you try to talk over someone or when you try to rush to jump in the conversation, take a deep breath and calm your mind down, and also calm down to really have this intuitive listening. And you will realize how much information you can receive just by simply listening to the other people with the aligned silence. And the most importantly, for sure, just try to use every opportunity to practice this. You may need some effort in the beginning, like intentionally you may try hard to, to focus or to have this aligned silence, but all the habits takes time to cultivate and the learning curves. And I'm pretty sure over the time, you will find it's effortless and you will realize how empowering it is. Okay, so with that, also bring us to the end of my sharing. Let me see, have Nicholas here ask a question. Can you recommend a technique to focus your listening and stop your mind wandering into your other thought? I think this one depends on the situation where you are. Like you have a face-to-face conversation, or do you have like a virtual setting like a Zoom call now, right? Because for example, I start with this easy one. When we have the Zoom call, when you have a virtual events, like now you watch my live streaming, usually how I do it, I close all the tabs and the windows, and I kind of log out the email on my laptop, because when many times it's like we have all this information or windows pop up on our screen, right, on our laptop when you are watching something or doing something. And also, for example, when I do workshop or when I do training, sometimes when we do some, for example, demo coaching, I always remind people, please refrain from the chat window when we have this demo, because we don't want to distract people, because when you have the message pop up. So there are many ways you can prepare yourself in advance to make sure you have distraction-free environment. And when it comes to in-person meeting, I think the most important thing is about to raise your awareness, your consciousness before you start engagement or conversation. Like remind yourself why you are here and why is the conversation important for you. And also try to look more forward, not only focus on the goal of this conversation. Because when you only focus on this conversation, you may go into your agenda because you want to carry the conversation in the way you want. You have probably some information you want to share, right? But to think about the bigger and also go in with open mind, go in with the curiosity to not only focus on this topic, but also get to know better about the speaker and see what are the other further opportunities you may have between you two, or between you and the audience or the speaker. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful, Nicholas. And with that being said, we come to the end of my sharing today. Thank you for being here to join my We Have a Saying in Chinese LinkedIn live streaming series. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Europe time, I will come here with a Chinese saying and come here to share a little bit of my language, the culture and the wisdom behind, and also my reflections and thoughts around that Chinese saying. And lastly, most importantly, don't be shy to say hi if you would love to come and join me as a guest speaker. I would love to hear from you. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Have a nice evening, nice morning, and have a lovely weekend ahead.